2, 1. Welcome everybody. ArmTalk is back. Sorry I missed you guys' smiling faces, but as you know, or maybe you don't know, that my work schedule has changed. So I'm now work Monday through Friday instead of the 410. So my only time to have these shows are on the weekends. But guess what? How do we kick things off? Well, my guest today, this evening, for you guys on the East Coast, matinee time here out west, I got Candy Passmore, who will be the Billie Jean King of this next event coming up at Michigan State, and her loving husband, Power Man Paul Passmore. Hey, what is up, you two? How y'all doing today?
We're good.
So, Candy,
yes,
tell everybody what's going on. Tell me, how did this MMA legend enter our sport, and then all of a sudden, how did you get linked up with that?
So Danielle Evanson, and that's her last name, right? Yeah. Anyway, Danielle was supposed to take on, it's an exhibition match with Dan at Michigan State Arm Wrestling at Kellogg Arena, and she had a death in the family, so she had to back out. And Dan was looking for another female to pull because he's wanting to promote female arm wrestling. So a lot of guys like this one right here and other guys they're throwing their name in there. Oh, I'll pull them, all this stuff. And Steve was like, no, he wants another female. And so Steve got in touch with Paul, and then Paul messaged me because he was like, Steve wanted to know if I would be interested in pulling them. Well, my first thought was, I'm not going to lie, but I was like, who's Dan? Like, I have no clue who this guy is, I swear.
Are you for real?
I'm a disgrace. My husband is so proud to be married to me now. So anyway, I think I had heard of him, but I never really, it's not like I'm a big time fan or whatever, like Paul is, and the guys his age group and stuff like that. So anyway, I was like, well, I don't know, because it's exhibition and you got to like really put on a show and be all,
right,
whatever. And I'm mouthy, but I'm not like showy. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this? And I even told Paul, I said, I just don't think I can do it. I said, I've lost about 13 pounds the last 2.5 weeks because I'm getting in shape for the Peachtree Road Race, 4th of July.
right.
And so I'm in running condition, but with me doing my job with the cabinets and furniture and all that, this is my busiest time of year. I'm still using my hands, still using my arms. It's not like I'm just sitting on the couch,
Right.
So I said, okay, we'll just do it. And I said, Daniel's out of football. Our son Daniel plays football and wrestles, and their last week of school was this week. And then he doesn't start with summer practice until the following week after we would go to Michigan. So Steve is like, look, bring the boys, make it a family trip. So that's what we're doing. And Daniel will compete in the teen class, and Henry, our 6-year-old, will compete in the kid class. And then Paul will compete. I will compete just because I'm there, but the exhibition is separate from the actual tournament. So the me and Dan thing is he'll be signing autographs and stuff like that. But I haven't talked to him yet. We're actually friends on Facebook now.
Oh, hey, how you like that, Paul?
I showed him last night, and he was like, no way, you're free. I said, yeah, look, right here, I'm friends with him.
Yeah, I think it's pretty awesome. He's one of my childhood heroes.
Now, see, Candy, you and I had talked about this over the phone, a couple of days ago, and I know it was more like when you and I were discussing this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the questions you asked me was like, well, why me?
Yeah.
Why not you? But then they were like, you threw some other names out there. How come it couldn't be like Michelle Dugan? How come it couldn't be like Sarah Bachman? How come it couldn't be like, Angie Rose? And it's like going, well, you know what? I think any person who's in your position and they really want to help promote, and you have somebody on the opposite end of that match that want to help get this thing going, what a perfect example, because I look at it like this. How often are we trying to get the ladies more attention to the sport? We tried time and time again, whether it be, hey, we're going to have this event, ladies pull for free. There's one option. Hey, we got this event. It's only ladies only. There's a second option. Now we have a situation where we have a star-studded, match, Beauty versus the Beast, anything we kind of could promote to get ladies more involved. From a lady standpoint, what do you think? Why do you think we struggle with that?
I think that, honestly, and it's like I've said before in other shows I've been on with you, with the ladies and all that, it has a lot to do with we take care of the home, we take care of the kids, there's dads that help out, but we're always the cheerleaders. We're always behind the camera and at the kids' sports and back and forth to school and all of that. So whenever I know Sarah had, she didn't have that good of a turnout at the all women's tournament. And I think it's just because honestly, she promoted it well, but we have too much going on. Like I can't just rely on somebody else to take my kids back and forth to school and cut off to Texas, to pull in a tournament. It just doesn't work that way for me. Because of Paul works every day, and he's not at home anymore. He's actually out in an office. And so there is nobody to pick up kids and take them wherever except for me. Right. So I couldn't just, cut ties and depend on nobody to take care of the kids and all of that. And I think that there's a lot of women that are in my same scenario. Just like Marilyn that pulled and ended up beating Angie Rose right-handed yesterday. She didn't even know that she was going to be able to go because she has 2 kids. She's a chef at a restaurant. She's head chef. So it's like last minute she got to go. And, that's just how it is. Like I can't plan in advance. And honestly, even going to Michigan, if the kids were not out of school, I wouldn't have been able to do it, but they're out of school. So that's the only reason why we even get to do this.
Everything fell into place.
Yep. Perfect. Everything could not have fallen into place even more perfect. Yep.
Well, and before, you started to get ready for the Peachtree Run coming up on July 4th, you were active for a moment. You were active, on the arm wrestling circuit. And you and I have talked about this on the show a couple of times. We talked about this over the phone and stuff. And, you would go there and take on these super matches. Whether you be at Mississippi State Championship or you're at the event up there in Texas, you were active. And then you kind of said, I'm going to take a back seat because, the kids now are getting older in their sports with wrestling and football and things like that. And, I'm going to go ahead and just, I'm going to just root on Paul while he has big upcoming matches and stuff. And so now the spotlight comes back on you and stuff.
I know. I don't like it. I don't like being in the spotlight.
So hey, whether you want to or not, you have to understand this because we're talking MMA legend, and he dabbled in WWE for a little bit, we're talking Dan Severn. And the fact that you get to, do all that is just, you're making every guy jealous, first and foremost, right? So I might go, look, you already sat there and said you're Facebook friends with him. Paul's like, what? Really? Wow. Every guy right now is probably super jealous because, I wish I was friends with Dan Severn on social media. And here you are, you get to. But I think once this thing comes and goes, and fingers are crossed, hopefully this will be the ticket. Hopefully, we'll get, besides Dan, signing autographs, taking pictures and kissing babies. Hopefully, this will be the thing that gets them over, and I'm hoping to, because there's a lot of ladies out there that have what it takes, but they can't get to it for one reason or another. So tell everybody, when is this taking place?
It's June 3rd. Yeah, June 3rd. And it's at Michigan State Championship at Kellogg Arena. I don't know what time. What time?
Normally super matches happen, 12 or 1. So
Yeah, it's on the flyer. I'll have to actually look.
I believe Alabama. I believe Michigan's going to be in the same central time zone. So yeah, they'll should be about midday central time.
Because now, you're also going. Here's the thing about planning stuff. I know Steve Pettis probably had this planned already as far as Michigan State the date, and it just so happens that's the same day as the East First West Finals in Virginia. So you wonder. One has to wonder how many people are actually being taken away from Michigan State that would normally go because of the finale. I always kind of wonder that also. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's got a bunch of. There's a bunch of people that's on the Michigan State, like the page for the event, that have said that they are going, and people are even saying, "Wow, there's actually going to be a lot of big names there." So it's probably going to be a good event. I know Paul, he rode up there, what was it, 2 years ago?
In 2019,
he rode up there with Glenn Brooks and
Robbie
Russell. And they, literally left and drove all the way there.
All night.
Wow.
And pulled the tournament and then stayed the night and drove all the way back.
Yeah, so that was a crazy trip. But I drove from Atlanta to the middle of Alabama and met up with Glenn. And then me and Glenn drove from middle of Alabama to the middle of Tennessee and picked up Robbie Russell. And then the 3 of us rode all the way up through Ohio, Indiana, and into Battle Creek, Michigan, overnight through Kentucky. Literally nonstop. We drove from the time, and me and Robbie were cutting weight. That's when I was pulling 242. So me and Robbie were starving the whole time.
And Glenn Brooks stops at every Fazoli's, which I had never been to. I'd never even heard of Fazoli's. And every time I would talk to Paul, I'm like, he's like, yeah, we stopped to eat. He said, at another Fazoli's.
Well, here's a question, because not to put you on the spot, Candy, but I'm going to have to, because that's just what I do. I got to do my job. So what happens after this? Because let's just say, for example, this Michigan State comes and goes, and then you got some ladies going, man, I need to get back into it, or I want to get into this. I want to take this more seriously. What part do you play? Do you kind of fade away and kind of go, okay, well, I did my thing. Now you guys take over, or does that mean that, you know what, maybe I might get that competitive juice going again, and maybe I need to start training again? What does this do for you?
I actually have a couple things lined up already. This wasn't even on my radar whatsoever. I kind of had it in my head. I was going to run the Peachtree, and then we have our Georgia tournament July 15th. So we have that. And Sean Hancock is the one that is taking over. He took over for Anthony Laterio. So it's now going to be a PAL. It'll be PAL instead of PAF. So he's putting that on. So that's July 15th. And then August the 26th, we all go to Ohio, and all the Passmores will be competing in super matches. I have a super match with Holly, and Paul's got
I got a super match lined up too.
Yeah, and then Daniel has a super match lined up. So all the Passmores will be there in attendance in Ohio.
What event? So what event is that?
What's he's looking it up. Hold on. It's It's Bladen, and that's
yeah. Hold on. I'm about to pull up some of the details.
It's called. It's
So Candy's pulling Holly Howard.
Yeah, Holly Howard is who I'm pulling.
And I want to say it's Stump Crew.
Yeah, the Stump Crew arm wrestling. Mm-hmm. It's his last name's Bladen, and he got me. Holly needed a match, so he reached out, and I said sure. And then
it'll be August 26th.
Yeah, August 26th, and it's called. What's it called?
The
Northeastern Arm Wrestling Championship.
I would love to be a fly on the wall
Mm-hmm.
the week leading up to that. Because if you're saying the entire household got matches coming up,
Yep.
what is that going to look like?
Let me just tell you. So the match that Daniel has, who's his guy? I'll have to send you the flyer with all of our pictures on it and then who we're actually pulling. But Daniel's got him. He's got a stout kid that he's pulling too. And
it's a kid that's about his age and size. I think he's a year older than Daniel, and he's from New York, and he's
from New York, and he's coming to pull Daniel.
Right.
And so that'll be a good bragging rights match between them two because Daniel's really getting into it now that he's older and,
and my opponent is going to be a up-and-comer, really strong up-and-comer named Paul Hughes out of Kentucky.
Okay.
So he wanted the match with me, so I agreed to it. And it'll be right-handed. It'll be my second super match right-handed since the break. My first one back was the right-handed PAF final. Well, actually, I've had two. So it'll be my third one back right-handed. I've won two super match with my right arm since the break. I've won 3 or 4 high level tournaments with it.
Alabama.
Yeah, I won Alabama with it. I won the triple elimination Oktoberfest with it. I won several really good ones. Good level, high level guys. So my right, it's different than it used to be, but I wouldn't say it's at the level it used to be, but it's at a really good high quality level where I can win a good normal tournament.
Right.
And my left's as good as it ever was. So, it's fun to be able to pull at a high level with that arm again, and it's only getting stronger. I'm putting in a lot of hours into it still. I put no telling how much rehab work into that right since the break, and it's gotten relatively as strong as it was. And I think within another year or two, I might actually be back where I was right-handed before the break. But I pull completely different now. I did pull the exact same with both arms, and now I pull completely different with my right. It's almost like 2 different arms.
So
Cool.
To answer your question, I do have some oars in the fire, I guess you would say. So this is just kind of, with my business being as busy as it is and all of that, I didn't want to say I was going to take on a match or whatever and really just roll out of bed and go pull a tournament. I wanted to be able to train with Team Georgia when they come and we have practices here and stuff like that. But my shoulder is still not 100% right. It still bothers me and stuff like that. So I've had to, like Angie and Ron and all them came for a practice before Ron pulled at Monster Factory. And I pulled around with Angie a little bit, but like her elbow's hurting her and like my shoulder because I've been working so much, it was sore. So I was like, I'll pull you a little bit, but I don't want to kill my arm. I've got to install a kitchen, So,
Right.
So it's not really, I don't do the training that Paul does. I don't do the training that, like Michelle does or Angie does or whatever. And it's because I work, I'm a mom, I'm back and forth to sports, back and forth to school. I'm really more of a cheerleader and I don't like being in the spotlight. I really don't. So I'm having to try to build myself up before June 3rd. Like, okay, you're going to be in a ton of photos. You're going to be like, it's going to be crazy. And I'm used to Paul being in the spotlight or our sons being in the spotlight. Like it's never really been me. So I'm having to, I guess, maybe I need to ask you how to be cocky.
Well, I'll tell you this much. Candy always sells herself short. She we have regular arm wrestling practices, and we've been arm wrestling now for 9 years, and we've had the who's who over here. You've named the good arm wrestler. They've probably been through here. There's just a couple who haven't. And she's learned Every good arm wrestler that's come through here has taken up some time with her, showed her different things. She probably does. If you really sit and think about it, you've had an unbelievable amount of really good coaching for what you do.
That's true.
Your skill level's high. You've been doing it long enough where you're conditioned really well to do it. You know how to arm wrestle real well. And the way you work with your hands, this woman's lifting. I mean, literally, I'm at work and she's lifting big pieces of dressers, cabinets by herself, all over the basement, all over picking them up, loading them into the truck, unloading them. She's working, sanding for hours. That type of strength really is what arm wrestling need. That's probably the best type of strength for arm wrestling. She doesn't necessarily go hit the gym like a lot of us do, but her day-to-day work builds a lot of that awkward hand and wrist strength that you need, and just that core strength you need for the sport. And she's got the skill. She's a really good arm wrestler when she's hitting on all cylinders and hasn't been working really hard the week before and isn't really torn down going into a tournament and good and focused. She's really hard to beat. So I feel like, and she's been on it lately too, working, and had a few good practices here lately. I think she's. I'm expecting a fun match with Dan. It should be interesting. She's not arm wrestling the Dan that we all watched. In UFC and WWE, right. That monster. This is. I think he's 64. And he does. He's not an arm wrestler. So there's an outside chance he may be able to quickly get on his fingers or something. I've seen Candy beat a lot of men arm wrestling. So because it's the person that knows how to arm wrestle, right? And
I'll tell you what, you got fans, Candy. So Sarah Lightning Latona is glad that you're back. She says, "I'm glad you're back, Candy." So
I love her.
Again, June 3rd, Battle Creek, Michigan, Kellogg's Arena, Battle of the Sexes, or Beauty versus the Beast. Now, what is the family thinking? What is your twin sister thinking?
Oh,
what
God.
is Paul's family thinking? I mean, because now we know what the arm wrestling family thinks. What about the immediate family? What are they all thinking?
Well, my sister has never really liked the thought of arm wrestling at all. Like she honestly thinks it's stupid. Like if you literally ask her, she's like, "That's so stupid. That's so stupid," because that's how she is.
Right.
She's a school teacher, so she doesn't get it. She doesn't have like a competitive side to her like we all do.
So she don't let the kids arm wrestle.
Yeah, so class. She doesn't. No, yeah, she don't let the kids arm wrestle in her class. And then my grandmother, she actually just had quadruple bypass surgery less than a month ago. She had a heart attack, and she'll be 84 in July, and I mean that she just got released from the doctor Friday, and she's like a walking miracle. She is probably, I would say, in my family, she is our biggest fan. She loves it. Anything to do with arm wrestling, she's all about it. She follows it. She shares it. She loves Paul. I mean, she's like, that's her person. But she does tell me, like, gives me motherly advice or whatever, because my mom's passed and so is Paul. So our grandmothers are pretty much,
right,
our moms. But she'll tell me, "Are you sure you need to do that? Like, you are so busy." And I mean, I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm good." And then my uncle that lives with her, my Uncle Jerry, he's all about it too. And he even knows who Dan is. So,
okay.
And my dad, same thing. He's a big supporter, but, Paul's family, they're big supporters.
Oh yeah, my family, all of them.
Yeah, they're all in it, because Tim is married. Tim McPherson is married to Paul's cousin, so right. Kieran is Paul's cousin. So his family's been in it.
Yeah, that's all we ever do on family get-togethers. My whole life is arm wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So I got two questions, one for each of you. Candy, are you going to plan on pulling the ladies division at the tournament?
Yes.
Because Sister Sarah has this for you. She's from Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is about a half hour away from the tournament. Arm wrestlers up there are legit. So, with that being said, aside from the MMA legend, Dan Severn, you're also going to pull the tournament and be ready because they're going to be ready too. So,
and I'm always one, especially if you're getting flown out somewhere and basically expenses paid for you to come to something like this. I'm not one to say, oh, well, I'm not going to pull the tournament. Like I'm there, even if
why not?
Even if I don't win a match, I don't care. I'm there. Why not? And it'll probably be the only time I ever get to pull at Michigan State. So I'm just gonna have fun, and that's pretty much how I look at it. I'm just gonna have fun, see who I run into. Because I'll run into people that I probably will never run into again. And that's why I like to pull at these events, because there's females I've never pulled and I'll never have that opportunity. So I might as well just, throw my name in the hat.
Do the ladies get gorillas too?
I think, yeah, they do.
Oh, yeah, Kenny, you better go and get you a gorilla.
Look, we were just having this conversation, like, let's just say we all get gorillas. How do we get them back? I mean, like, we can't put them in our suitcase.
Yeah, we're flying.
No, you carry them with you.
Really?
It's almost like if you win one of those belts, or you go to the Midwest in the Kansas City area
and get the axe things.
I mean, you're gonna have to let the security know at the airport. Listen. I'm not here to hurt anybody, or just have them send it to you in the mail. But I was kind of curious because I've never seen a lady with a gorilla, so I was wondering, do they get those too? Because
the women get gorillas too.
So, Paul, same question for you, because Sarah also tells that they got some blue collar farm boys up there. And you're no stranger to that because you're as blue collar as they come. So I know for a fact, you're ready for that gorilla. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. The Michigan State, I believe the two most prestigious tournaments that you could pull in the United States every year would probably be Michigan State, without a doubt. Every year, year in, year out, would be one of them, and the other one would be Alabama State, Mississippi State too. So I've won Alabama a few times. I've won Mississippi. Never had the opportunity to pull in Michigan. A lot of the pullers up there, I haven't had that many opportunities to compete against, so I'm really excited to test my skills against them. I'm really excited. I believe the gorilla is probably the crown jewel of anybody's arm wrestling trophy collection. So if I'm fortunate enough to get one, I'm going to be extremely happy. It's something. Yeah, I mean, really, if I get it, it's going dead in the middle of my trophy case.
We might have to build another one. Honey.
Yeah, I've competed up there before. In the AAA National Championship, the 242, and won it both arms, undefeated. I just recently, in my last tournament, I won Alabama State, both arms undefeated. Went in Biketoberfest, won the triple elimination tournament down there in Florida. I've got a lot of momentum coming into this. I feel good. I've been training hard. I'm healthy. I think you've got a good shot at coming home with some hardware. And if not, I'm definitely going to jump in the pool with a big cannonball and see how it goes.
Well, I'll tell you what, just like you, I love awards. As you can see behind me, I got two tall cabinets, full of trophies and plaques and stuff. All my medals are in a separate box. That's just what it is. But question for both you guys. All right. It's arm wrestling related, but I got to ask you, how are you two when it comes to jewelry?
Oh, as far as hardware?
Yes, jewelry. What do you think about jewelry? Is it too gaudy? Do you like wearing jewelry?
I wear my wedding ring when I'm not working with paint. And then, like, I put earrings in. I've never been a jewelry person.
Okay. Paul, what about you?
I've never had.
I wear one of those rubber Zeus wedding rings that you can wear and when you're working out and not hurt your finger.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But that's the only jewelry I've ever worn my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, we both got initials tattooed on our
Yep.
finger. Where,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something.
That's his only tattoo. Everybody
The only
thinks he would
tattoo I
be
ever
like
had.
tatted up, and that's the only tattoo he has.
I don't know what your plans are, but I'm gonna show you something. I don't know if y'all can see this right here. Y'all see that?
Oh yeah.
So that is the United States Open Championship that will take place on August 6th, the 5th and 6th in Anaheim, California at the Fit Expo. Now, this is put on by Bill Collins and the UAL.
Right.
So, custom-made awards for men's and women's. And anybody in the chat watching this goes for you too. Now, if you're a guy, wins your open class, you will get a custom-made arm wrestling championship ring.
That's cool.
For the ladies, you will get a custom-made arm wrestling championship pennant. Okay. So I had to ask that because I'm thinking, okay, I'm a sucker for awards, so you see that kind of go, okay, I like stuff like that. So I'm throwing it out to you guys because what made me, bring that up is because we talked about the gorillas. How can you carry it you can carry it on the plane. Sarah said so. And I was wondering, when you look at trophies, like the ones I got back there, and, for me, they tell a story. I know what tournament it came from. I know exactly who I had to win to, be there. I exactly know my training leading up to that. They tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, if you win money, it's a bonus. But, you win that trophy, you look back and go, man, that was a good tournament that day. So, when someone's rocking they got Monster has like the belts on his wall at the Monster Factory. You get somebody with a sword. You got Thor hammers and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, you got this championship ring. And when you wear a ring for a guy, people kind of stop mid-conversation, look and go, what's that about? Or if you're a lady, you got this necklace and you got this pennant and you got the arm wrestler. They're kind of going, oh, man, she must be bad. I see that I want to say that.
He's fine.
But, so I kind of wonder, I don't know what your plans are, but what if you were able to participate in a tournament where the open class, ladies, men's, they offer those kind of awards? What's your reaction to those?
Me personally, it's really not a big deal for me. It's not a game breaker. I'm just never. I really could care less about really getting anything, to be honest. I mean, whether it's money, a medal, whatever, a plaque, like all of, this whole wall. We'll see. This is all. I mean, the whole entire wall.
That's a lot.
And then we have the belts over there. You get to see all my cabinets and all that stuff. So, I mean, we have plenty, and it's to the point where, like, Daniel with his wrestling, he gets a medal for every time that he, participates or whatever. So I've got him hanging across his curtain rod. I did him across his curtain rod.
Oh, nice.
So, and he's filled, and I'm like, so me personally, I really, it doesn't, if I get something, great. If not, I guess because I'm wired different. I don't know. It's not like I need something tangible to prove that I won something, like beat somebody, whatever. It's not like a self-gratification thing for me, but that's just me. I mean, I'm just wired different. But
he is just like you said, Jody, to tell the story.
Yeah.
Before we came down here, I was setting up the chairs we're sitting in, and I started looking, and I've got a first place Arizona, first place Texas, first place Mississippi, first place Tennessee, first place Kentucky, first place Kansas, first place Florida, Alabama, all these states. But I was looking at them and I'm like, every one of those is a memory. I look at it, that was something I got and went and competed for and won while I was there. And to me, I know, these awards don't mean anything to anybody else, but to me, it means so much. And it tells a story, and it has full of pride, memories, and all the hours you put into training for those events. And it kind of shows what you did. And to me, I love them. I love awards. A ring would be super cool. It would be something if I went and competed in California and was able to win that tournament, which is another very prestigious tournament.
Yes,
I'd be super proud. I would wear that ring often. Wear it to work, let everybody see it, tell everybody about it. When I went out into town taking candy on date night, I'd be wearing it.
Everybody always knows us anyway.
Yeah.
We've had to start going to dinner like an hour away, because if we go anywhere local, we'll sit down for date night and literally 10 people come by, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll just be sitting right here enjoying my dinner by myself, because it does not matter where we go. And I mean, pretty much, I've lived in Covington my whole entire life. And then Paul lived in Conyers his whole life. And they're pretty much like 2 exits apart from each other off of I-20. Yeah, they're like sister cities. So everybody knows us. And then you throw arm wrestling into it, and we've been in our local magazine, and Covington being Hollywood of the South, with the Vampire Diaries are filmed here. The originals, Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, you name it. Sweet Magnolias. Yeah, that's my show. Just, everything's filmed here. So literally our restaurant on the square is called Mystic Grill. It's next to the clock tower, and it's because it's called Mystic Falls in the Vampire Diaries. I don't know if you've ever watched it. I've never actually watched an episode. But anyway, Denzel Washington was there the other day. He just stopped in for lunch because he's here filming a movie. Like popped in to eat a hamburger at lunch. Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
So there's always celebrities here.
One of my best friends I grew up with owns a barbecue restaurant right off the Covington Square, and Will Ferrell walked in for lunch, a couple of years ago, and had lunch there.
Mm-hmm. So
you just never know.
Yeah. So it's, we're definitely small hometown celebrities. I mean, everybody knows us. It's really cool. It's actually really cool, but it does kind of get where like, okay, well, let's go a little bit further up the road and see if we can eat somewhere without running into everybody.
Well, I mean, I guess it's a good thing and a bad thing, because the good thing is that, like you said, small town,
Mm-hmm.
the whole feel, you know everybody knows you. But then I guess the downfall is that if there ever was a time where it's just you and Paul, hey, let's go out to eat, but just you and me and nobody else, just for a few hours or whatnot, or maybe even a weekend, then all of a sudden you bump into somebody, and what do they say? They say timing's everything, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So I do get that, and that happens, but it's what happens when you're celebrities. That's what happens when your husband's like a 4-time PAF championship belt holder. That's what happens when Miss Candy Passmore is going to be going up against the MMA legend Dan Severn. You can't escape it. That's just what it is.
Yep, I know. I might as well ride the train while I can, right?
Yeah, but like I said, I mean, I don't know, because even Sarah Latona, who's in the chat, was saying that, anything, because me and her are good friends, and anything to help get the ladies' sports spotlight, I'm all about that too, because there's way too much talented ladies out there who compete and just don't get the recognition, because maybe they're trying to figure out, what direction do we need to go in to make sure we promote this thing and do it the right way. I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to,
And just mad respect to Dan Severn for lending his name to help promote women's arm wrestling.
Right.
The man really, I mean, he is the epitome of a legend in MMA, and I'm absolutely giddy about meeting him. He was one of the inspiring factors for me to start fighting. I remember when I was 13, 14, 15, I was sitting in my living room watching the Blockbuster Video UFC fights I rented with Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock and Hoist Gracie. I mean, he's just the man, and he was a collegiate champion wrestler and all that. And he was a big part of motivating me to wrestle in high school. So he's somebody that would be extremely cool to meet and just shake his hand, and maybe on this level with my wife arm wrestling, and we can all kind of hang out a little bit too. And I can really kind of
I'll see what I can do. Okay.
And get to know him a little bit.
Oh man. Y'all go out to dinner with Dan Severn.
Oh, I know. Wouldn't that be a dream?
I'm telling you right now. Y'all go out to dinner with Dan Severn. It is over. I'm telling Candy, it is over because Paul's gonna be like, "Hey, aside from getting a picture, aside from getting your autograph, let's talk shop. Let's talk MMA shop." Here's Candy looking at her watch, going, "Look, you know,
we got to get up at 3 in the
We
morning.
literally have to leave our hotel at 3 in the morning because it's a 2-hour drive to the Detroit airport, and our flight leaves at like 7:15 in the morning.
You know what'd be funny? How fun would this be? You guys fly into Detroit, but Dan Severn picks you guys up from the airport.
That would be that'd be unbelievable. Well, we got a rental car.
Yeah.
Too.
Right.
But yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. I mean, I've already told him, I know we're going to be up late. It's going to be up. I probably won't even go to sleep, to be honest.
Well, if you remember in Arizona, my flight left at like 7 the next morning when you and I were out there, and I had to get up and leave at like 3 in the morning to make my flight. At like 6 in the morning in Arizona. That was rough because everybody was hanging out, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to try to get an hour or two of sleep before I got to make it to the airport.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get our flight back, returning to a later flight, but I won't know till I, get to the airport. So I'm going to try though.
Well, I tell you what, I'm so excited about this. And when you told me, I sat there and I was like in the middle, doing my honeydew list for the missus. And when you had told me that, because I had my earbuds in, when you told me, I kind of stopped for a second. I'm like, and I did this. I'm like going, you for real? And it's exciting because not everybody gets this opportunity. So I understand you don't like the spotlight on you. I understand. Okay. Yeah. It's more for Paul and the boys. I'm just, the lady that supports them. I understand that, but I think you need to understand, and you probably do, but when you have an opportunity like this, and it could be a monumental shift, because like I said, to start the show, we've done ladies, hey, free entry. We've done, hey, all ladies tournament, So now what do we come to? Now we have the situation. Who knows? This might be the one that triggers everything to go, okay, maybe, we should make this, put some emphasis on the ladies arm wrestling. So you never know, but I just want to say, take it in stride. I understand it. I know that's not you, but take it for what it is, because who knows? This may be the thing that turns the corner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I'm just going to do what I do and try to be, a performer and be entertained.
And who knows? Maybe you might be the one signing autographs and taking pictures.
No. They're probably going to think he's like, if like his side doesn't really know arm wrestling, like his fan base or whatever, they're probably going to think with my name that he's pulling a stripper. They're going to be like, oh, her name's Candy. Is she like a stripper? Or, so then I'd have to like change my name. They put Candy Crush Passmore on the thing. I would have to change it to like Candylicious or something like that, if it's supposed to.
But the minute they say Passmore, they know, oh, okay.
Yeah,
no,
they're like, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's certain last names in the sport where once you hear it, oh, okay, we know, because Passmore, not a common name. Brezink, not a common name. So we know when for example, you hear those names, hey, so, oh, by the way, Sarah Latona wanted me to show you this. Sarah, she says, you can always message me for tips on being in the spotlight. Been a performer since I was 3. So
that's
there's always that, So, but yeah, I'm so excited for this, and I can keep pumping this out, in the weeks leading up to it, that kind of thing. And hey, I'm excited. That's all I can really say right now, because I know we're still a ways from that. But that's about.
It's about 2 weeks.
2 weeks away, huh? Damn. All right. Well, I'm gonna keep pumping this out there then. That's what I'm gonna keep doing, because Billie Jean King ain't got nothing on you. I'll tell you that right now. When it comes to the battle of the sexes. So, but again, I know we've been on the show for almost 45 minutes now. I know it's East Coast time, and you guys are probably trying to figure out what y'all want to eat for dinner. So I'm gonna let y'all be. But I do want to thank the both of you guys for coming on the show today so we could talk more about this Battle of the Sexes or Beauty versus the Beast match coming up. I think it'll be a good thing. It'll be a good treat. So once again, thank you for taking time out of your Sunday to join me on the show.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us, Jody. I appreciate it. As always, it was awesome. Great to talk to you again.
Yes, not a problem. We will talk to y'all soon.
All right. Thanks.
Take care. Bye, everybody.
Bye.